Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order and we'll begin with roll call.
Senator Bergera, Senator Orojaka, Senator Flowerny, Senator Gasso, Senator Smith Marcel, Senator Mitchell, Senator Bevel, Senator Szilard, Senator Morris, Senator Williams, Senator Joyce, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Sepulveda, Senator Ochiocha, Senator Armstrong, Senator Dumas, Senator Ubale.
Here.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, y'all. It just exited out in the middle. Okay. Oh my gosh. Senator Guerra, Senator Parchman,
Here.
Senator Sneed, Senator Lopez, Senator Coburn, Senator Houston, Senator Goldthorpe, Senator Yezik, Senator Muta, Senator Taylor, Senator Baker, Senator Ramirez, Senator Whitsett, Senator Sita,
Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. I sent these out yesterday. You guys had a chance to look at them. Okay, all those in favor of last week's minutes, please raise your hand. Okay, all those opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, that passes. Is there anyone here for open forum? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports.
Events committee did not meet last week. We're just waiting for the order to come in for finals bags.
Communications was not able to meet this Monday. However, I have reached out in the group chat. So if you are in that group chat, please respond to the message I sent.
Treasurer Barnes, SGSC did meet on November 13th, and we approved First Gen Patriots and the Hispanic Student Association. They requested $911.82 in Chewy, CC's, and Pizza Hut food items for their Friendsgiving with First Gen. It was like a co-sponsorship, and then we approved them for $743.42, and that's going to take place on November 19th, excuse me. And then the Black Student Association and African Student Organization requested $627.80 in a variety of food vendors for their BSA ASO Friendsgiving co-sponsorship event, set to be held November 18th, and we approved them for an amount up to $228.72.
Rules Committee did meet last week and kind of sort of had like a debrief meeting planning for next semester and what some potential things that could be done in the future. That's about it. Looking at a couple things like trying to add the School of Medicine into the Constitution and maybe potentially look at adding a clause like to where if like institutional changes occur within UT Tyler, for example, like a new college being formed, then that can automatically be added without having to pass a whole new amendment. Thank you.
ESC did not meet last week, but I have been in contact with Bonnie and we're creating an example plan for the compost idea still and then coming up with the event for next semester.
Okay, moving on to student voice reports. First up, we have Houston campus. Does anyone have anything to report from Houston? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to College of Arts and Sciences.
Senator Vergara here. We were able to speak with our dean for College and Arts and Science, and we are waiting to set an appointment with him. So,
Does anyone else have anything to report for College of Arts and Science? Okay, moving on to the College of Education and Psychology.
Uh, Senator Smith Marcel, here for the College of Education and Psychology, but I'm speaking specifically for education majors. Students feel that the College of Education is somewhat overshadowed by the psychology major. They also have found that they are unaware of the sources on campus, especially when it comes to like advising and course availability. They also communicate that they feel like they are getting overworked by their load of work, and they're basically just feeling like the amount of hours that they get aren't matching the workload that they're receiving. They feel that they are not provided with the same academic support, and their overall rating experience is a 2 out of 5. They tend to feel not connected with the rest of their peers, and they also have asked for more help when navigating classes and finding their courses, and basically just helping them find resources for their teaching hours, along with distressing events that would allow them to meet more people and get more familiarized with their resources.
Senator Gasu here for the College of Education and Psychology. So to add on to the education students, they just feel like they're not being supported in what they want to, like what kind of classes, grade levels they want to work with. They are more being assigned grades. Like I've had somebody that wants to teach first and she's being put in 5th grade and it's not been a great experience for them. And psychology students are under a little bit of stress because of finals coming up, just like all other majors, but they do want more activities being hosted within like our school. Maybe we were thinking of speaking to the deans very soon. We have emailed them. We're just trying to coordinate a time for all 3 of us to meet with them. And with that being said, they have also, psych students have also spoken to me more about like, so we get internships emailed out to us, and however, a lot of the students get denied because they're not 21. So I'm trying to work along with the other senators to try to find internships for psychology students that may not be 21 but still want to get that experience.
Okay, thank you so much for that report. Moving on to officer reports. So last week, Thursday, I met with Dr. Philly and gave her some updates. This Friday and Saturday, I went to UT SAC, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in new business. Then today, I met with the National Student Surveying Committee regarding student engagement, and they mostly spoke about how they want to create a new survey administered during March to seniors and freshmen, kind of asking about how their experiences have been here at UT Tyler and share the data with administration. And they'll be coming next semester to kind of preview the survey with us as well. Um, that's about it for my report.
Vice President Page. Last week I got to sit in on Treasurer Barnes' SGAC meeting, so that was interesting. That's the first one I've been in. Other than that, I've really just been coordinating to have, finals bags hopefully get done quickly whenever they come in, and kind of prepping for today's transition.
This week, I have been trying to continue to stay updated with the Instagram posting the current events going on campus.
So I hosted my SGAC meeting on the 13th and I approved 2 organizations. I had the privilege of attending the Patriot Premiere that was hosted on Saturday with a couple of senators, and that was absolutely amazing. We got to meet a lot of interested incoming freshmen who maybe want to learn a little bit about SGA as a whole. So it was really good because those senators got to kind of put in their accounts of what it's like being a senator. And I obviously was able to kind of give the more ins and outs of what we've been doing historically as an organization. And then today, actually, I ran into the Center of Excellence in Teaching and Learning, and they wanted me to go ahead and let y'all guys know that they are doing appreciation cards for professors in the library tomorrow. So if you want to swing by the library and write an appreciation card for a professor that you think has done a remarkable job this semester, they'll also be hosting that.
Chief of Staff Burns, last week or on Friday, I had the pleasure of going to UT SAC with Victoria, and we'll talk about that during new business. For me, I met with Rules Committee last week, kind of debriefing the semester and trying to look at next steps and preparing for the transition and things like that. Well, I think that's about all I have for this week.
Okay, does anyone have anything for old business? Seeing none, I entertain a motion to open new business. Okay, I entertain a motion to discuss the VCB student rep applicants. For this portion of the meeting, we'll enter into a closed session just to keep some of the information a little bit more private, and then also Chief of Staff Burns will leave at this time. Okay. I entertain a motion to close the VCB student rep application. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. I entertain a motion to discuss the electric scooter survey. Okay, so Senator Houston and the survey committee have just finished their electric scooter survey, and so we kind of have a QR code to give it a test run. So
Vice President Page, I will say now, I took this earlier, and there is at least one question that doesn't have like the proper responses on it. So we are aware of that. But just let us know what you think of the questions and should anything be added.
Zoom, did you guys get a chance to look at the QR code?
Senator, guess who? Can we add comments? Okay. I Server is awesome. I just feel like it's too long. Me personally, if I'm gonna like fill out a survey, I 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 10 questions max. But I love the survey. I feel like it's getting to the point, but maybe we can condense some of the questions, or that group can come in, condense the questions to make it like straight to the point. Yeah, but that's my opinion.
Could I ask, do you think there needs to be less of some, like, do you have questions in mind that could be lessened?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me go back. Okay, well, I can't go back, but I know there were some questions that were like, oh, yeah, it was like down. Yeah. Wait. Okay. Convenience. It's good. Okay, wait. I'm just gonna It's more like the ones that ask like, oh, well, have you rode a scooter? But then there's not an option that says I'm not a scooter rider. I feel like I'm not sure if it's possible to do it in that like section. If you're not a scooter rider, can you put no? And then that way you don't answer the questions I have to do like with how many times you use a scooter and different things like that.
Senator Houston, I will say that it should, if you say no, I believe it's built into the survey to completely erase that section of the questions. So if you're having issues with that, that's something we can look into.
Vice President Page, in regards to like the length of the survey, we're looking to kind of get as much information as possible, as this could, influence actions that the university takes going into the next semester. Because, up until this point, there hasn't been much action against scooters or for scooters. So, dependent on the feedback, we hope to send this out in the next week at like the longest time. And then have this information within 2 or 3 weeks and send it to administration before the break so that there's time to review, and should anything happen, it could be at the beginning of the semester.
Right. And Senator Guesser, I'm not opposed to like the survey being long. I'm just saying if I was in a student's position and I have finals coming up, Thanksgiving break, Christmas, I'm not spending this time filling out a survey when I could be studying. But that's just my personal point of view.
That's fair.
Our plan is to keep the survey open at least till the 31st. Do you think it would add to the incentive if we had some prizes or something?
Okay. We can arrange something and do we can like pull from the data and give out something based off the ID numbers, possibly.
Well, there we go. I have a question about the consistency of the barcode being put out. Are we planning on doing like a social media type thing? Are we doing flyers?
We'll send out a student-wide email. So we have it drafted already. And it'll kind of explain the purpose of the survey, what some of the student opinions have been, and why we want to get a more concise answer. And it'll be linked in there. So we're not going to do the QR codes, but it will go out to everybody.
Additionally, something Secretary White will do is create flyers and post them on campus, and then also put it on our social media, as well as the TVs as well. Do you guys think the survey is lacking in anything Is there something you'd want to see on there specifically? You think it encompasses everything that needs to go out to administration? Okay.
So outside of the grammar, I think there's like one or two little like grammar mistakes, or the where it just said like option one, option two, option three. Any major changes or
Senator Houston, there's a select all, it's like select as many as you want question that is only, it's like a multiple choice question. So other than that, yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to add to this discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and wipe all the responses and then we'll work on some of the issues you guys have brought up. Then I entertain a motion to close the electric scooters survey discussion. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. All those opposed? Okay, and any abstentions? Okay, thank you. I entertain a motion to discuss UT SAC updates. Okay, so this weekend, Hayden and I had the pleasure of going down to Austin this Friday to represent UT Tyler. So first day we had a couple of administrators from the UT system speak with us. So we had our Vice Chancellor, Daniel Sharpoon, and he kind of discussed some of the legal, he's basically the head attorney for the UT system. And so he discussed a couple of things regarding some heavy hitters he's seen, some issues that might become more prevalent in our system and as well in the Texas A&M system as well. And Hayden and I did our best to kind of ask some questions regarding UT Tyler and representation for, smaller schools like our institution. And then I also have what we sort of finished off on. This is kind of the notes we had from each meeting. And so our heavy hitters are food insecurity, free speech, affordability / OER, and then AI policy. And so food insecurity is kind of proposing making it a mandatory assessment to address food insecurities and housing needs through each UT system school. And then free speech, what we really talked about is creating a task force to for the UT system to kind of implement training across each institution. And then Hayden can kind of speak to the affordability part.
Yeah, so my group is talking about affordability of college and specifically trying to focus on course materials. I know I definitely see around campus a lot of instances where students are struggling to pay for textbooks and for like subscription services that are required to do different homeworks and stuff. And so we kind of want our recommendation to kind of take a two-pronged approach. So we want the system to take a focus on open education resources and trying to expand those efforts. For example, at like UTSA and UT Austin, they have a lot of really good resources out there, and they're really like trying to push an expansion of OER, not only just in like telling professors to say, hey, you guys need to start finding textbooks that are cheaper for you to use, but trying to like find grants to promote funding for the creation of new textbooks that can be used in open education. I didn't know. How much notes do you have? Can you go to the affordability part? Oh, there it is. And And so, but we also understand that the second prong of the approach is that when you can't actually lower the costs, for example, in my organic chemistry class, I can't exactly see how you would try to find a free textbook. It gets a lot more difficult depending on your major and where, what part of college that you're in. And so the other aspect of it is increased transparency. So an idea that we had was to as you guys might know, I know Dr. Swaim came and talked about it. We're implementing low cost markers at school in compliance with state law and also federal law, to where if a course costs under $50, it has to have a certain marker, like when you go to register. And so it actually kind of just went live very recently on the UT Tyler website. Like I went to register and it wasn't there, but then I went back like during the UT SAC meeting and I could actually find it. And so one idea we had is that you can have certain ranges. So like if a course costs between if it costs under $50, it could have a certain designation. If it costs between $50 and $100, it could have a designation. 100 to 200 has a designation, and then 200 plus. So essentially it's if you can't directly decrease the amount of money that students are having to spend, let's at least provide transparency so that they're allowed to plan financially. That was my group's thing.
And then with AI policy, we kind of had four main topics, which was encouraging that there's a policy that in each syllabus, the instructor clearly states their AI use, if it's allowed or not, and if so, what are the proper uses? And then also incorporate a kind of a course within each class where students can have an assignment and complete an assignment using AI so that they know exactly how to use it in that course specifically. And then also they want to have the UT system implement a form of like training or development that kind of allows faculty to better understand the use of AI and how they can incorporate it into our classes. And then this last part. So really we kind of settled down and created solid drafts of recommendations. And I was able to work with the free speech one. And I think for the free speech task force, it won't directly go to the chancellor. However, we did get a chance to speak to Dr. Holmes and Dr. Ford, and they are very adept to the idea of creating the task force. And this is kind of what our recommendation will be, like the letter sent out to them. Um, and it's kind of just talking about the background information and why it's necessary. And then we have the food insecurity draft as well, where they kind of brought in a little bit of data from the US Department of Agriculture, and they will implement specific instances at each UT system institution regarding food insecurity. And then for the AI use, our institution is actually pretty advanced to a lot of the other institutions whenever it comes to AI. We have a dedicated website for appropriate practices with faculty and students, as well as a fair use policy. Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Is ours in the shared drive? My affordability letter?
Yeah, but you guys don't have a letter yet.
Yes, we do. Oh,
Yeah.
that must be an old one. We do have a letter. I'll send it to you real fast.
Could you just add it to the Google Drive? Okay. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Comments or concerns? Okay, seeing none, I entertain a motion to close the UT SAC updates discussion. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. All those opposed? And any abstentions? Okay. I entertain a motion to discuss nominations for eBoard. Okay. You want
All right. Well, I get to go eat after this, so that's exciting. But it'll first go down the line of succession. So, Secretary White. Oh, I didn't know there was a whole thing I had to say. I formally, I guess, resigned my position as vice president. So,
Yeah.
immediately. I'm saying, peace.
I accept the position of vice president. I decline the secretary position. I am staying treasurer. So
I do accept the position as secretary.
Okay, we'll now take nominations for chief of staff.
Can I just scream? Oh, I got it. Senator Shallard, I nominate Senator Houston for Chief of Staff.
Senator Houston, I accept.
At this point, we checked eligibility. Everyone except the senators who were sworn in last week are eligible for the position.
Senator Arajaka, I nominate Senator Yazak for the position of Chief of Staff.
Senator Lubale, I nominate Senator Angelica Guerra for Chief of Staff.
Okay.
Going to respectfully thank you for the nomination, but decline.
Senator Guerra, do you accept your nomination?
I decline nomination at this time.
Senator Gasu, I nominate Senator Lubale for the chief of positions, I mean staff. Oh, chief of staff position.
Senator Lubale, do you accept the nomination?
I will accept the nomination.
Senator Coburn, I would like to put my hat in the ring for Chief of Staff.
Okay, do we have any more nominations? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay. So basically what will happen is next meeting we'll hold a special election for these candidates and they'll be, I mean, you guys have seen the process of special elections. They'll be able to kind of give a speech and spiel about themselves and then why they would like the position. Does anyone have anything else to discuss?
If any of the candidates have any questions for me this week, please reach out. I'm willing to answer any questions you might have.
Senator Joyce, I motion to open a new discussion on the line of succession for eBoard.
You have to close the first discussion. Need to close this discussion first.
You just have to second. Okay, so they motioned to close the discussion and that was seconded.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, real quick. So all those in favor of closing this discussion, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
Okay. I motion to open a new discussion on the line of succession for eBoard. Okay. Since we're like on the discussion of the eBoard like changing, I feel like the line of succession is out of date because I feel that as a Senate, we're able to, just the same way that we're able to vote and like elect a new position for the chief of staff, I think it should be the same way for any seat that opens up because as the Senate, we see how the eBoard members work face to face and we know what their qualities, like what their strengths and flaws are and like which position for the eBoard they fit best in. So I just want to see what everybody else thinks. Okay. Oh, okay.
I'm confused. What are you asking?
Oh, well, okay, so I know that it's like we can't change the Constitution, like the amendment process right now, but I guess for the future, I think that we should talk about it right now since it's being brought up that I think we need to change the line of succession rule within the Constitution
What are you proposing? Change it to what?
to a senator vote. I propose to change the line of succession to it being a senator vote.
All right, Jessica, I just have a question. Are you saying that when, like, for example, Senator Pate, Vice President, well, I don't know, when the Vice President resigns, it shouldn't go to the eBoard first, it should just be open?
You gotta turn it off.
No, she turned it off. Yeah, so I'm not saying that I think senators should be elected. I'm saying that within the eBoard, we should be able, like the senators should be able to elect and say who we believe is the best for that position that is opened up within the eBoard members.
President Okafor, I think that's an interesting point. I mean, you make a valid argument. I think it's just been like that ever since. And it's never been kind of brought up before.
Senator Shillard, my only thoughts on that is in the e-board and this whole experience, it's for them to grow, them to experience different positions. If we think that, say, Chief of Staff Barnes, if he thinks, or if we think, oh, he's the best one for that position, he's going to sit there and stick. He's never going to be able to learn what a secretary does, what a vice president does, what the president could do. Like it's for them to grow. So I think that we should keep it because they're never going to grow if we all think, oh, Allie should stay the same, Victoria should stay the same. And then once they move out, we just start voting everybody else in. Like I think that they should be able to be like, yeah, I'll take it or I decline it.
President Okafor, I mean, that's the point of us working together. They do get to know what each role does, and then they can always run for the election next year for that position if they're interested. Um,
Senator Bergara here. Well, my opinion is that I believe that um, some people do work harder for their positions. I mean, and they it would be unfair if a person who doesn't work hard for their positions is still in line. So we should give it to somebody that's worth giving. Like, you know what, I want to do it and I want to do my best. So for me, it'd be like give it to the best person who deserves it.
Senator Yezik. I'm just curious about the existing model that is in place. Was it modeled after anything else in the government in the way that it works?
I can answer that question. Yeah, line of succession is kind of modeled after, like in the United States government, for example, like in our president, vice president, there's a list, all the secretaries of, I know it's like Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, then Secretary, I don't know the exact order, but what? Is it what? Did I say it wrong? What? Not important, but yeah, it was modeled after like the U.S. government, for example. Like there is a line of succession.
Um, Sorry. Go ahead.
Senator Coburn, I think that when they're elected in the first place, that it's with the expectation that there's a possibility that they'll have to or will want to move up to like the vice president resigned. I think it's the expectation is that they were elected and they have the possibility of moving up if there's a vacancy. Like in the real election world, you elect a president and a vice president. There's a possibility vice president might become president and so on. That's my 2 cents.
Senator Dumas, I think pursuant to that point, the I think having the Senate decide which member of the eBoard should go where would add clunkiness that doesn't necessarily need to be there. I think it's an interesting idea and merits discussion, but I don't feel qualified to know what these guys put in behind the scenes. They probably do a ton of stuff that I don't know about. And if the nomination comes down to them through the line of succession, they have the right to say no if they don't want to do whatever the role is beyond that. But I know these guys put in a lot of work beyond what I know about, and I don't feel that I would be qualified to say that this person would be better here as opposed to this other person. They can have that discussion between themselves and figure that out. And if they want it, they can run for it the next year. So that's my opinion.
Senator Houston, can I ask, what are you concerned about specific members of the eBoard that are perhaps unqualified, or that you like, do you want the Senate to have to give consent for someone to take a position to ensure that qualified candidates take those positions? Because if that's the concern, there's also a mechanism in the Constitution where you can remove an officer if you feel that they are unqualified. So there are guardrails there to some degree already.
I'm just gonna agree that's a valid point. Yeah.
I motion to close this discussion. All in favor?
Okay, all those in favor of closing the discussion, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Any abstentions? And any opposed? Okay. Okay, does anyone have anything else to add to new business? Seeing none, I entertain a motion to close new business. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay. Moving on to advisor comments.
No comments. Good meeting. And so, no, all kidding aside, no, this is a good debate. It's good that we're asking and having conversations about the Constitution. That clause has been there my whole time I've been here for a whole 10 years. And so it's never, ever been discussed once. So kudos to y'all. That was, I think, an important conversation and something to consider for the Rules Committee moving forward. And so, other than that, thank y'all for endorsing the students. I think it's important that UT Tyler sends representation. And then also I'm looking forward to seeing the scooter data. And so good survey, a lot of questions. It is long, but I do think prolonging how long a student can complete it with constant reminders will generate interest. And then I think given how much students have talked about it, I think students are going to fill that out. And then other than that, the good comments on the student voice reports. And if I can help in any way, come visit me and be happy to figure out who do we need to talk to address some of those concerns.
Okay, for our announcements, we have Thanksgiving break next week, so we won't have a meeting. You guys will rest, and I will too. So we have P2's Friendsgiving, which is this Thursday at 12 to 2. If you'd like to volunteer for the event, please come see me after the meeting. Additionally, we have the Walk to End Alzheimer's to December 6th, and then finals bags. We'll go out finals week, and then we'll have those specifically in the library. You see different colleges and buildings. And then our East Texas big event, once again, is February 28th. So go ahead and add that to your calendar. And then our last meeting will be December 2nd in Cobb 180. Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay,